Hello, my name is Jorge Fernandez, and this is my presentation on climate change. I decided to do this presentation on climate change simply because I believe I'm pretty knowledgeable on this topic as I have used it in the past. Now, a little bit of table of contents. We're going to be going over some background information, why I believe it's important, the main topics of Article 1 and 2, and of course, the references at the end. Now, background information, let's go over the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is what most researchers attribute global warming to. In essence, it is a trapping of the sun's heat by the Earth's atmosphere. What actually does the trapping is what we call greenhouse gases. These gases are normally occurring by the Earth. They occur normally, with a few exceptions. A few examples are methane, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide. So this greenhouse effect is actually what makes Earth habitable. It's what makes our climate what it is. However, with human activities, especially carbon dioxide, these gases have been increasing in the atmosphere, which in turn causes more heat to be trapped, which of course leads to climate change and global warming. Now, as I said, some of these greenhouse gases were man made, specifically chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. They're a little hard to pronounce. But these CFCs damage what we call our ozone layer. Our ozone layer is a layer of protection that our atmosphere has. It protects us from the radiation emitted by the sun, and it's what protects us from getting really bad sunburns and stuff like that. It stops the UV radiation that the sun gives us. However, these CFCs did damage our ozone layer and created a hole in the polar areas. So most of this polar melting is due to that, due to the ozone layer actually being depleted. However, it has been seen that the layer is actually replenishing itself and is repairing itself, thankfully. Now, let's go into why I believe this is important. Ecosystem diversity. As I said, the polar caps are melting. With the polar caps melting, sea levels rising, more and more habitats are becoming endangered. More and more species are becoming endangered. If, for example, polar bears, they're a great example. They're losing their hunting grounds. They're losing their living area. Coral reefs are bleaching. So coral reefs are infinitely important to our marine ecosystem. They house many species of fishes and marine creatures. However, with the increasing climate change and the increasing temperatures, the water temperature in the oceans is actually increasing too. And although it's by 1 or 2 degrees, it's 1 or 2 degrees, it's enough to cause them to die, and which is why they bleach and they turn white. And with them turning white and them dying, all the fishes or animals that live in said corals lose their habitat. And with this, a lot of our marine biology is at risk. Now it's not only our animals that are at risk, it's ourselves as well. There's more and more frequent natural disasters happening, more hurricanes, more earthquakes. This of course puts a dent into our population. There's casualties everywhere those disasters occur. And if it's putting a dent into us, imagine third world countries that don't have the necessary infrastructure or the ability to repair said infrastructure after disasters. It must be stopped, and we have to find a way to come together. That said, many technologies are being researched and implemented in order to combat disasters and combat climate change and combat global warming. Now, first article is titled Planning and Engineering Strategies to Mitigate Effects of Climate Change. This article was published by Kafui Vincent Wong, and he is part of the College of Engineering in the University of Florida. As I stated, he noticed that more and more frequent natural disasters were occurring, more landslides, more tsunamis, more hurricanes, and with those, more damages to infrastructure, critical infrastructure such as food silos or even nuclear facilities. In his article, he states that other countries and everyone around the world have to start implementing contingency plans and ways to avoid catastrophic damages to said infrastructures because of climate change and coming up with strategies to counter them. Excuse me. The next article is the resilience technology battling climate change. This is by Carlos M. Gonzalez, and it is an article in which, as I said, it talks about certain technologies that is being used to prevent and recover from natural disasters, or um, allows developing countries to combat said disasters, and which is amazing because it shows that people actually started caring about this and believe that this is a real issue, and not only things that battle climate change, for example, or natural disasters. I mean, for example, electric vehicles and electric appliances. They're not emitting as much carbon gases anymore, which is in turn hopefully gonna lower climate change or global warming, you know, in some years. So all of this is essential to not only our survival but the whole world's survival. So these are the references that I said, and then these are the references for the images I used, and that would conclude my presentation. I hope you enjoyed.